right, welcome to another episode, another podcast, another YouTube channel version. Guys, what are we even? Mental Matters episode.
It's a thing. We're here.
It's
We're
a
back.
thing. It's a vibe. Once again, you're joined, and it's me, Kimberly, chairperson of Psyche. So awesome to see everyone. We're joined by the wonderful, beautiful, incredible Kopano.
Hi guys, welcome back. I'm Kopano from Sax FM, and it's always a blast to be with you guys.
Yep. And this week we're having a really special episode. Instead of speaking to our experts in the field in terms of their expertise in psychology and the issues that you guys want to hear about, we're speaking to one of you. We're speaking to someone who is a University of Pretoria student who is going through what we're all going through, but is here to speak to us today about what she's going through, and hopefully we can learn and build and understand each other a little bit better and what we're going through and relate with each other a bit more. So without further ado, introducing Adelene.
Hi, my name is Adelene. I'm a third and final year psychology student, and I'm super excited to be here today to speak to you.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, Adeline. And thank you so much for taking the time to actually share with us and be with us today. And yeah, just sharing your experiences. We're sure it's going to be awesome. But Adeline, what we ask every person we have on the show first is, how are you feeling today? So what are you going through? Where are you at right now?
So to be honest, at the moment, I feel a little bit stressed, but also excited because second semester is here, and I feel a bit more prepared for the semester than the first one. So it's a bit more excitement and nerves that I felt in the first semester when lockdown hit us. So I'm feeling good. I'm actually happy.
Personally, for me, like the first semester, we started off on campus and then we had to transition into online. Now we're like online, like there's no like transition. You just have to like literally, well, you're expected to sort of know what's going on. Is that maybe why you've been stressed, or are there like other reasons?
I think that right now at this moment, the lectures aren't really taking it as online. They're just like continuing. So I feel like it's a good and bad thing because they expect us to just be in the flow of online lectures, but it's still a bit stressful because we're still not 100% used to it. It's still brand new. We're still in a different environment than actually being at university on campus, and so it's still hard, even though we're supposed to be in the flow of it, if that makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, and I think, let me actually hear your guys' take. So, you know, Mr. Ramaphosa announced a few days ago that we're now transitioning to level 2 lockdown as of midnight tonight, whatever all of that means. But now there's kind of whispers and there's talk and there's a rumble in the jungle about possibly us going back in Q4 to campus life. How do you guys feel about that? Like if we were like asked to come back in Q4, is that something you guys are ready for?
Okay, I'll go first. Oh wait, do you want to go first? So for me, okay, so with resident students, right? So I'm a resident student. I live in House Mags, and we were sent emails saying we can apply to go back to res, right? And then obviously the email stated that because you're back at res, it doesn't mean that you're going to be allowed back on campus, which is a bit of a confusing thing, but okay, cool. And for me, I was like, actually, going back to school isn't the worst idea I could possibly think of, but I do think it's going to be very difficult to readjust. Like, I'm used to being at home where I wake up, even if, you know, let's say I missed a lecture, I know, okay, it's recorded, I'll watch it later at my own time. And I've actually often found that if I watch lectures during the evening, like more absorbs into my mind. So I actually like watching lectures in the evening, like, or listening to lectures in the evening. And so now I'm going to have to come back to being a day person, and I don't think I'm ready for that. But so yeah, there have been like major moves in terms of tax raise, and now they're allowing like 66% of the students who live at rest to come back. So yeah, for me personally, yeah, I don't know. Mixed emotions.
Actually, I agree with you, especially the point with the online lectures. I really enjoy watching it at my own time. So like when I'm in bed and I'm actually chilled and I can watch it, but then I can also watch it tomorrow morning. So I feel like having that opportunity to watch the lectures whenever I want to and I'm comfortable, or if I even watched it and I feel like, oh, I didn't really pay a lot of attention, I can just watch it again. So that's actually one of my favorite parts of online classes. But I don't know, going back, I feel like it's a bit stressful to go back, just as it's stressful to not go back. So it's a lot of mixed emotions at the moment, to especially being third year and applying for honors. The being so unstable makes it even more nervous because there's no stability. It's like, am I going back? Am I not? Am I gonna just finish the year? So that makes third year even more stressful for me. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the idea of waking up for a lecture is just your like
very foreign.
I feel like it's a cruel and unusual punishment.
Me. 7:30.
Wow.
I've gotten into this awful habit of watching my lectures while either like I'm still in my pajamas and I'm just like having a cup of tea, or while I'm stretching, or while I'm doing some sort of grooming. So like I'll be watching my lecture, but I'm just there with like my eyebrow tweezer. So I think the idea of waking up for a lecture just feels like torture right now.
Yeah.
But Adeline, given what we've been through, so let's talk about lockdown and how you've been experiencing it. What did you find to be the biggest hurdle in lockdown? And do you feel like you have overcome it to some extent or not?
So at the beginning of lockdown, I had to make a decision because my boyfriend stays in Randburg and my parents stay in Midstream, so it's quite far away. So I had to decide whether I'm gonna spend it with him or with my parents. So in the end, I decided to spend it with him because I only expected lockdown to be 3 weeks. So I was like, it's fine, it's gonna be okay. And the 3 weeks, it became 5 weeks, and then it became a month, around like 2 months. I think it ended. I only got home at like, I think end of June or July. I can't remember now. But that was really hard for me not to be able to just get in the car and go to my family or to go back to my boyfriend. It's that split thing. So that was really emotionally hard for me. But I'm not sure if I've actually still dealt with that emotion, because even now you're still kind of restricted because you can't just go whenever you want to. So that was one of the really biggest emotion for me. And I think that's yeah.
Do you think that lockdown made you a lot more aware about your mental state, so like your mental health, and actually like putting in boundaries for yourself in terms of, because I know it's something that I struggled with, in terms of being like, okay, classes are from 8 till 4. Then after that, I need to rest. Then, so there was this whole like, okay, now like you can work, and then you forget to actually take care of yourself. So did it make you more aware of your mental state and your mental health?
Yes, definitely. Because going to campus and having that routine, it's so easy. Like you go to class, you come back, you eat, you shower, you do a little self-care there, and then you go and study maybe again. But now it feels like the day just runs. Some days just goes by so fast. You sleep a bit later, and then you wake up, you drink coffee, and it's like the day just goes by. And I feel like actually now I couldn't distract myself from feeling emotions, because when I felt super stressed, I'm like, let's gym, or I'm feeling anxious, let me go drink a coffee, or I'm feeling distracted, let me go to the park. There's like stuff that I could have done out there, but now in lockdown I was like in one room, like in a small apartment. So I had to like figure out how to deal with my anxiety in a different way instead of just putting it there and dealing with it later. So that was a big challenge, but it feels a bit better now. And
Yeah.
you, Kim, how did you feel with that?
Sorry, I'm so like absorbed into what you're saying. I'm like, yeah, no, it's been quite intense in terms of like you're saying, the inability to distract yourself with what you're currently dealing with and what you're currently going through. But I think for me, the biggest thing has been this act of mindfulness that we've spoken about in a previous episode, and the self-care thing, because I think I've always been the kind of person who's very in touch with my feelings and very in tune with them, and I've tried to take care of them, but I don't think I've been very forgiving of that. So, if, for instance, I have a routine in place and I have a schedule, that schedule by the end of the week will be met, come hell or high water. Then I might take a day off after, but that schedule will still remain. And with lockdown, it's kind of been like, what schedule? So I've just
Yeah.
had to be very forgiving of like, if I don't get to it this week, I just clearly I survived, I'm still alive, and I'm still at university and I'm still achieving. So clearly it wasn't as do or die as I thought it might have been. So I think I've just definitely started to see a lot of things in perspective. But yeah, I think loss during lockdown has also been a huge help in terms of seeing things in perspective. I wonder, have you guys experienced any kind of loss, be it, friendships, be it family, be it someone you know about that experienced a loss in lockdown? And I don't know, how have you guys dealt with that? I'm just asking because that's something I'm currently dealing with.
I'll go. So now I'm gonna expose myself. But anyway, so condolences, by the way. I hope you're okay, Kim. So I broke up with my boyfriend like last month. What are we in? August? So like end of July or something. Oh, basically I went through a breakup, right? And I particularly struggled, especially at the beginning, or like at the right after it happened. Like I found myself not being tired all the time, but not being able to sleep, or like this overwhelming sense of like, these are my emotions and I have to like do something with them. And I found myself watching a lot of self-help videos. I have like it's three YouTubers that I always go to if I'm feeling like sad or depressed, or I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And one of them is Rowena Tai. And she basically made a video of what to do when you're feeling sad. Literally, that is the video, what to do when you're feeling sad. And the first thing she said is sit in them, talk to your emotions, talk to, like, understand that, okay, so be like, Opano, you are sad. Why are you sad? You're sad because you lost someone or something has happened to you that makes you really sad, and you thought, it would come out differently. And what that does is sort of prevent you from gaslighting? So like making yourself feel like, oh no, I'll be fine, or it's really not that big of a deal, because it is a big deal. I think our emotions as young people have always been suppressed. We're always, if you're a girl or a woman, you're always told, no, you're strong, you're emotional, you're inherently emotional, so you should be able to handle your emotions. And you're like, no, I don't know how to, like, and so with the same with guys. With guys, it's more of a, you're a man, emotions, that's not a thing. So I think I've like learned to sit with my emotions, to be like, okay, like I literally gave myself 3 days. I cried every single night, and now I don't cry anymore. So yeah, like I think it's just about sitting and understanding your emotions and journaling. I think for me that has been like, if I'm feeling down, if I'm feeling like I cannot handle what is going on in my mind, because the thoughts are just, then I just journal. And after that, I feel like, oh, okay, that is real. That is a feeling, and we let it go. So yeah, I've been rambling for quite some time. Adeline.
You with the emotional thing, because during lockdown I felt so many emotions, and I never, like before, because I also started journaling actually now during lockdown, and it's really helped me, because there's like some days you write these paragraphs, but some days you just make a few bullet points saying, I was feeling a little bit sad, why, and then you figure it out. Because otherwise you have all these emotions and you're feeling like you're overreacting or you're underreacting. And when you're journaling, it helps you to feel like, to actually discover yourself, to know like, I actually get anxious when this happens, and it's okay to be anxious. But then also let's try and maybe improve the feelings, like the reactions we had the next time. So it's really nice to journal. That's what I've been doing, because I don't know, lockdown gave me just a bunch of emotions.
I think, yeah, definitely. I've been finding a lot of peace in the act of like calligraphy, which is not something that if you know me at all, is just not something you would ever think. Um, but I think there's just something about, like you guys are speaking about journaling, there's something about putting pen to paper and kind of releasing that emotion and releasing that thought that I think is very consoling in a sense. But yeah, I think addressing those feelings, as you mentioned, Kobano, has been a huge part of that as well. You know, I am feeling how I'm
Yeah.
feeling, and it's okay to feel how I'm feeling.
Yeah.
But you know, Adeline, back to you. Sorry, kind of threw that in the spanners there. But thank you guys so much for sharing. Adeline, you know, talk us through then. So you spoke about how you left. You were staying with your boyfriend for a while, and then you now at home, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how is that going? You know, again, going back to maybe Kobana's previous question in terms of boundaries, but maybe in terms of family, how is that affecting you? How are your family relationships being affected by lockdown and you being there as a student?
So before lockdown, I stayed in a residence. So I had that separation of student life and personal life, because when I went back to, because I stayed in Hatfield Studios, when I went back, it was like study, study, study. And when I came home, it's like relax. So now that I'm staying here, there is nothing like that. Like when I'm here, I have to figure out a schedule so that I can know when I have to study. And we're a really busy family. There's always someone running around, there's dogs. So it's been a challenge to actually tell myself to leave the, not, I don't want to say the fun part, but like the family time to actually go study, to say, okay, it's time to focus now and not watch TV or go eat a sandwich for the fifth time today. But to actually tell myself to study. But it's been good. I feel like the relationships, I'm surprised that it actually went better than expected. Like we, in the beginning, it was a bit hard to like found the boundaries to tell each other, okay, I can't socialize now, I have to focus. But it's actually been quite well. Like we figured out to give each other more space, because since we can't go out to actually be a bit with ourselves, and because I love to go to coffee shops, like that's my favorite thing ever. I will just go.
Same.
Like it was, I miss it so much, because when I feel a bit overwhelmed, I just go to a coffee shop, I do something by myself,
Yeah.
whether it's journaling or just reading something for anthropology or summarizing a chapter in psychology. It's just, it was my favorite thing ever. So now I have to do it at home, so I have to just be like, okay, I have to focus now. So that's been a,
Yeah.
I feel like we're all respecting each other's space, because that's really important. Because since we're in each other's space the whole time, you need to be like, okay, I need space. And they shouldn't be offended by that, which actually they haven't been. So that's really great.
Now to go, I think, to the extreme, the other extreme, the people that you don't get to see every day or you've been seeing less of, which is like your friends. Obviously now when you're at home, your boyfriend and so forth. How was navigating doing stuff with your friends online, like virtual, like coffee dates or just a catch up? Or because I found it very difficult because I'm an extrovert. I love going out. I love being in the streets. I love going to music festivals. I love, like you said, going out for coffee. One of my favorite things ever. So, because I just love coffee and tea. But, like there's this now complete extreme where you could go next door and be like, yo, let's go out. Let's go do this. And I was like, hey friend, how are you? Da, 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 da. So how have you sort of navigated also finding time to be a social human being with your friends?
So I don't know if I'm the only one, but in the beginning of lockdown, I think like the extreme lockdown, like the first 5 weeks, I felt like everyone was so social. Like the groups on, like my friends on the groups, we were chatting, sharing. I video called a lot of people. We did online gaming, like we played games, and I felt like I was like, yeah, this is cool. This is working. And I feel like in month, like when was it? I think after like 2 months, I felt like everyone just like people stopped chatting, the video calling became short. I feel like people got tired, and that's actually so sad for me because now I feel like it takes so much effort to try and connect with people by now. I don't know if it's just me because like in the beginning it was easy, surprisingly, because people were like, yeah, let's video call, let's do this, and they were chatting. But I can see like my friends especially, they got tired. Like this whole, I don't know if they're emotionally drained or just life gets busy, obviously. But it was just, it's hard now to actually connect with people. So I don't know what to, like how to improve that, because I think
Yeah.
people are tired, I guess, because they just
Yeah.
want, because in the beginning everyone was like motivated, like, yeah, we're gonna get through this. And I feel like they need a reminder that it's still going to be okay. You know,
That's
it feels it's really long, but it's gonna be okay. Yeah.
like I don't know, like I completely shut off from literally the world. Like I'd maybe get, 1 or 2 calls a week. And now I probably video call my friends, like I schedule video calls. Like I literally send them Google invites. That's that's what we're doing right now. But it's sort of been like, I think for me it was okay, I need to figure out my flow first. Because when we actually went into lockdown, in my head, I was like, this is going to be here for a very long time. Like, I was like, this is, I mentally prepared myself for an extended amount of time being at home. Um, Even though I was hoping that I wouldn't have to be, but I did. And so I was still trying to figure it out, and I didn't want to bring all my friends into this mess that I was. So I was like, guys, I love you, but whoa. And eventually, like, we all sort of found our grooves, like our individual grooves, and now our individual groups are like grooves are coming together, and we're more social. We talk a lot more. So I think for me it was the opposite of you, but I guess that's how we all sort of have we all have navigated lockdown quite differently and in different ways, so not surprising. Kim, how about
No,
you?
yeah, I'm a mess. I'm, no, I'm exaggerating. No, I think being an ambivert, I tend to come in and out of being extroverted and introverted. And what lockdown meant was having to refine and recalibrate my in and outness. So in society, like pre-COVID, I wasn't on social media, but you had my cell phone number. So if you wanted to meet up with me, I was a one-on-one person. Let's do coffee. I will spend the next 2 hours catching up with you, type of thing. But I was very strategic. I only saw people on a Tuesday, Wednesday, or sometimes a Monday, but I won't see a person on a Friday. And so I had this whole rhythm to my
Wow.
life.
Okay. Wow.
No, Fridays were for me.
Life.
Fridays were absolutely for me, and I was quite selfish about it. And then Mondays as well were my recharge, get the week started type of thing. So I tried to avoid seeing people, but I would do meetings on a Monday. So I had this whole strategy to live my life ambivertedly. And then lockdown happened, obviously, and the introvert in me automatically secluded myself. So I was like, oh, yay. I don't need to make excuses why I can't see you. Just text me. So I was really excited, to be honest, at the beginning of lockdown. It was a great time to recharge, to also spend time with my loved ones that I hadn't seen in a long time because I was so busy. But it also brought out the bad parts of being introverted, which was kind of, the seclusion, because now you're not seeing people every day, kind of meant that I was like completely isolating myself. So at some point I had to start like giving myself a kick in the butt and being like, Kim, just message someone and ask them if they just want to video chat for the next 30 minutes, which is not something I'm used to. So yeah, I think I'm kind of in between you guys in that it's always it depends on the week, and it depends on the emotion at the time, and how willing I am to broach social media, which is always an interesting battle for me.
I just want to say something like what you
Oh.
said with like including yourself, and just I think that was me as well. Like I found it really difficult because I get like I vibe from your the like if you're happy and I get that, then I'm woo. But over a video call it's really hard to like you can't, because
Yeah.
it's just hard to get the emotions out of someone else. So that was really difficult for me. So actually after like 6 weeks I also had to tell myself to like keep checking up on people, because I started just to like watch Netflix and eat and study. So I also, a lot of friendships, they were kind of not breaking obviously, but it was just not that frequent communication. So I had to put in that extra effort, because you can't just, because what I used to do is you walk to campus, you walk into a friend and you're like, hey, and you quickly chat. And or you go to class and you sit next to your friend and it's like a quick, you're just chatting and life goes on. But now there's nothing like that. You have to go the mile to check up on people, and you also have to respect people's like boundaries, because like for me I love video chatting, but I can't do it every single day. Like I love chatting with, but like different, because if you walk into someone, it's not that emotionally draining than actually sitting in a video chat speaking, you know what I mean? It's do everything virtually than just bumping into someone, or yeah.
I think my final question for you, Adeline, and then I'll yield the floor to Kobana, is what would you say is your biggest tip as an undergraduate tax student? What is your biggest tip for, let's say we have to do the rest of the year online, how to be a successful student? And this is, just anything that you've picked up, anything that you've implemented that you see works for you.
One of the, like you said, actually, that really stick with me is to be forgiving, to not be so harsh on yourself. So my biggest tip will be to obviously get your schedule and figure out in advance what like tests or assignments you have to do, so that you don't forget it, because I feel like time just goes by so fast now. So have a schedule. That's my tip. So try and write down everything you need to do and you still have to do, whether that be academically or in your personal life. Just have it all written down. And when you miss something, hopefully not a test, when you miss a little thing, be forgiving. Just see, okay, it wasn't that important, but let's move it on to a time where I'm actually emotionally or ready to tackle the challenge. So I actually really liked what you said. That stuck with me, to just be forgiving to yourself and not too harsh, because if you're harsh, you're just going to keep digging your own hole, and you're going to feel even more sad and more mean, and you're not going to be able to do the task if you're mentally drained. So just be forgiving and try and get it done. Yeah.
I think that's actually the perfect note to end today's episode on. A very forgiving, a very uplifting vibe. Thank you so much, Adeline, for sparing some time out of your schedule to talk to us today. It's always really amazing to, speak to someone who's also in final year, because I am as well, and I'm just like, I don't know what's going on. So I know we're all stressing about those honors applications. Also, get them in, guys. My lecturer always said it's better to decline than to miss a deadline. So make sure that you get those in for all the people that are going to postgrad next year. But from us, we hope that you enjoyed the episode and that you've learned something, and that you can relate to, how we're feeling and how we've also just been processing the whole lockdown thing. We're obviously going to be back next week with another episode. So yeah, and if you haven't, catch up on the other ones. Yeah, like, come on, do best.
All right, guys. So that's it from me, Kim, Psyche. Thank you so much. Thanks, Adeline, for joining us. Thanks, Kopano, for being here as usual, your awesome self. And yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.